Let's go.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need the G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need the G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stocks crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like
good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need the G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need the G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
yeah, hey, look what I got. New whip with no top. Cooking up no stove top. Ice cold, no snowdrop. Big budget has big facts. Big money in the contract. Been running no contact. New record with the new tracks. Yeah, they been sending me new plaques. I don't really need new plaques. Nah, big rock with the suplex. Yeah, new rock got a new flex. Yeah, I'm current, I'm a new trend. Now boys with the full scent. Yeah, like I said, no new friends. We don't really need new friends.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need the G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need the G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 1800 and 57 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps.
Yow.
What's going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and yo hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. And today's episode, the Mancast, is sponsored by Everson K2 Flexin on all you Tis the fucking Catalina wine mixer, and it is 1857. It is Ask Papa Swolio Live, so we will get right into some questions real soon. We got to bust this nut open. Make sure you subscribe everywhere that you can subscribe, but check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a review, Beaches, please.
He's heating up!
Leave a review, Beach. If you don't leave a review, I know. You can go do one of these. If you don't leave a review, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, especially if you listen on Apple Podcasts, because it helps a lot. And of course, Daily Swole every single day, the Daily Swole channel on YouTube. Hit that bell to be notified. And before we get into some of these awesome questions, and before we start taking live questions too, make sure you check out the Swole fam over at swolenormousx.com. You can join today for less than $5. Get access to all the exclusive live stream content, all the content inside Swole TV, including tomorrow's tomorrow's accountability meeting, which is at 12 noon Eastern time. So don't miss out on that, beaches. You already know. We talked about it yesterday. Tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, June 7th, tomorrow, Monday, we got an awesome priority access episode, accountability meeting inside Swole TV. Don't miss out on that. and that will be at 12 noon Eastern time. We got new releases. We got awesome Swole fan posts, so be there or be a le square. And also check out our other shows. We got the Red, White, and Swole podcast. We got the Swolenormous Audio Experience and the Swolenormous Procast. Check out those wherever you're listening to this. We got a couple new little clips up on the channels. On the Swolenormous channel, we have Fatness is Not a Failure. Weight fluctuations should exist without justifications. That title is horrific, but it's very explanatory. Go check out that fucking video. It's hard. It's hard to write a title for something so stupid, but you have to watch it to understand it. And we got right here on the Daily Swole channel, genetically modified salmon is coming to a store near you, and it will not be labeled as such.
That's fucking bullshit.
So the move continues to poison your mind, to poison your food, and to keep control over the population. So we keep on moving more and more in that direction, and the sheep just want to be shaved, right? The sheep, most people just want to be, can you just give me my cookies? Can you just play my Netflix movies and let me just stay in the Matrix? Let me just stay brainwashed. Just tell me what to do so I can do it. Tell me what to think so I can think it, please. Don't give me real food. I want some fake ass fucking salmon. I wanted something made in a goddamn lab. Give me that lab salmon. That lab beef. Fuck that shit.
How about I send you a hobo's dick
I'd rather
cheese?
eat a hobo's dick cheese. I'd rather eat a hobo's dick cheese than some fake ass food like that. But, we do what we can. Let's gather around, fam. Now that everyone's here, you could start dropping your questions in the comments below. We're about to get into Ask Papa Swolio Live full blown. First off, we got to summon the Falcon, Freddy. Freddy, where are you, Freddy? Hello? Hello? Ah, there you are, Freddy. Cover your nips, fam, for the busting of the nut. Thank you, Freddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the hand. Looking good. Oh, Leo, you forgot something. You forgot something, Leo. You forgot to put down the fucking alcohol you're raging out. You're raging lush. Look at you. Remember, it affects your strength, right? If you're drinking all the time like Leo, you're not eating healthy, staying up late, cortisol levels through the roof. That's why you couldn't get on the door, bro. That's why you couldn't get on the fucking door.
Bullshit.
Plus, you tried once. You were so drunk you didn't even know to try. Jesus Christ, come on, just one more take, one more attempt, please. Drop the hashtag Swole Privilege in the comments down below. One of the best cards. Fam, before we get into today's Ask Papa Swolio Live, I was on TikTok a little while ago. Some of you were joining me for the live stream. I was on TikTok live, and someone asked me a question about vaccines and like whether I got the vaccine and just some thoughts, and I got banned on TikTok for a week. I got banned for even discussing it, for even having a conversation about using common sense and logic and critical thinking. That's it. Got fucking banned. Got banned for a week. Very nice. Very, very, very nice.
USA, greatest country in the world.
So I will be back live on TikTok. I was getting excited because I was going to start a whole new stream. I was going to go live a lot again. I was like getting amped up, and then all right, fine. It's really hard. It's really hard to create content. It's really hard to create content when you're getting banned and censored on every freaking turn. It's really disheartening. It's really discouraging, and it's really not inspiring. They're not inspiring creativity, which is why this authoritarian stronghold that's taken over our fucking world, of course, TikTok and China and such, but the United States, all these regulations and all this censorship is really brutal. is really bad. We were talking about this in the Swole Fam Telegram a little while ago, so a lot of you probably know that already, but it's pretty brutal. Even just using critical thought. Remember, the system here tells you what to think, not how to think. Not how to think. If you don't want to think for yourself, that's fine, but blocking other people from thinking critically. And most people don't understand what critical thinking is. Critical thinking doesn't mean that it's not a conspiracy. It's just thinking logically and working through the actual facts and the reality of the situation. So unfortunately, but what else is fucking new? All right, let's take some questions. Drop in the comments down below. Hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. We're not going anywhere. You know, if we get banned from all the platforms, if YouTube bans me here or whatever, we'll just stream privately from now on, and that it'll be that, and it'll just be harder to reach people, but we'll go private. Remember, join the Swole Fam today. If you never want to miss a single episode in case we get banned, in case we get throttled legitimately and you don't see, if you're not getting notifications, if you're not getting alerts, it's because you need to join the Swole Fam. Get Swole text, get your Swole Fam Discord alerts, get your Swole Fam Telegram alerts. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, you will get alerted with these mechanisms and you'll never miss a live stream. And of course, if we get banned, we'll stream live inside Swole TV like we always do for our accountability meetings, our master classes, and our special events. So join the Swole Fam, make sure that we are able to continue to do this as we do, and it'll keep us all consistent, and we're self-sustaining and self-supportive thanks to all of you. So Swole Fam, much love. We are crushing it. Couldn't do it without your fam. So join the fam today, the greatest community that doesn't take bullshit from anyone, anywhere. Fuck yeah, Swole Fam. Get you some Swole privilege. Come on, take it away, Freddie. Look at that sexy beach.
You are looking rather splendid this evening.
Look at that splendid beach. Look at that hair. It's like exploding off your butt. Looks sexy, Tess. Look at that. Look at that peppermint tip. Look at that peppermint tip. I know. Oh, you almost bite it. Oh, you're so close, Freddie. Oh, you're so close to biting that tip. Ah. Oh, the tip. Oh, the tip. All right, let's take some questions. What we got here? Josh, critical thinking. What is this you talk about? Exactly. No one knows.
The more you hate me, the more you will learn.
No one knows. What is this critical thinking? What is this of what you speak? What is this? What is this? Alpha Tyler, should I be worried about high cholesterol? If so, what can I do to reverse that? You need to learn more about cholesterol. Learn more. There's some great books out there. Cholesterol Myth. High cholesterol is not necessarily bad. This is a big misconception that's been propagated over decades to get you on statins, to get you on medications. So it's going to be different for you. There's many other different factors of which I don't know all off the top of my head, specialty, blood work, and things like that. But you can read some books and content on that will explain it in much greater detail. You got to put the time in, you got to put the work in. So when the mainstream narrative is going the opposite direction to keep people sick and to perpetuate these quote diseases or reasons why they can give you medication and drugs, if you're giving people quality foods and you're eating quality foods, you're exercising, you don't need all these daily drugs. You don't need all these statins. You don't need all these other things. But if you're not taking care of your health and you're eating garbage food and it keeps you sick, these companies make billions of dollars. So there's been a lot of rot in the scientific community, as we know, as is being exposed now in the last couple years. You're learning how deep this rot goes and how sinister it can be. So check out that book and check out all the other content about it. That's definitely worth 1,000 hours of Googling to explain it a lot better than I could. Aiden, so I've been doubling down on cardio, still lifting heavy and eating much cleaner, still gaining weight. But I still feel okay, but I'm getting heavier, 6'3", 310, but I'm not fat. Well, at 6'3", 310 you're not shredded muscle. Got to be muscle gain, right? So let me see here. You've been doubling down on cardio, more exercise isn't going to keep you leaner. So you're not going to out cardio. That's not how it works. So be very careful with that. You're just going to exhaust yourself and zap your strength and your muscle gains. Eating much cleaner, still gaining weight. I still feel okay, but I'm getting heavier. You're not going to know if it's muscle gain. You have to do actual measurements on it. So if you're 6'3", 310, like you're not lean, that's for sure. You're a big boy, but you're wondering what has happened since did you measure when I can't answer that question. You don't have any context from before and after. You're just telling me where you're at now, but you're not fat. These are all just subjective thoughts. You need to get more granular. So you're going to distribute weight evenly. You're not going to notice. You're not going to notice this stuff. You're not going to put, for example, you're not going to put 10 pounds on your arm. You're not going to put a lot of weight on your hand. So if you put on 10 pounds, it's going to be evenly distributed slightly over your entire body. You might not notice it too much. You might have a little bit on your legs, like a little bit on your right leg and left leg, or if it's evenly distributed, even if it's water retention too, you're not going to notice it if it's distributed over your entire frame because you're a big dude. So just make sure you're not trying to like overdo your cardio. So doubling up, it's going to be nutrition. If you're trying to lose weight and manage your weight, it's all in the nutrition. The training and the nutrition, the cardio that's not necessary to manage your leanness and your weight gain or weight loss. Let's see here. Citrine, is it bad, like people say, to eat liver each day? Is it bad? No. I had low iron last week, ate some and felt much better. Of course you did. No, I eat it. I eat liver every day. I have a little bit. You can eat an ounce or two of liver every day, no problem. And there's no real evidence that even eating like more than that a day, but it's not necessary to eat it in large quantities every day. You could have it a couple times a week. You don't need it every day, but I prefer to have like an ounce or two every day. Usually about 2 ounces a day for me. That's my preference. Anywhere between 1 and 2 is good. Depends on if you're supplementing it in addition to that. Because I eat the liver, but I also have some other supplements that have some liver in it. So let's see here. Any other questions? Keep on dropping them down below. We got some from Instagram as well. So if you have a question here, you can drop it and then we'll get back to it later. Once I see them pop up. Let's take one from Instagram.
What's in the box?
Josh Hannigan, Papa Swolio, is it necessary to carb load before and after training? No, I think it's generally better to eat your carbohydrates after you work out, whatever your general allotment, either before or after your training. That way you're not sucking down a lot of carbohydrates later in the evening. Carb loading is relative. I'm not a big carbohydrate proponent. I don't think people should be sucking down the majority of their calories from carbohydrates. But of course, if you are eating optimally for yourself and you're having more fruits, you're having more, like for example, everyone always asks me what carbohydrates do I like. I like sweet potatoes, berries, dates, raw honey, and sometimes I'll have a little white rice now and again. But usually having more carbohydrates or having some honey and stuff like I usually do before or during or after my workout is my personal preference. It's going to be the best use of it in general around when you would need it. So that's what I've generally done. Fred, are stevia and monk fruit okay to use on a daily basis? I usually use a couple of drops of each. Drops? What do you mean drops? Sweeteners like that can jack up the gut. So just keep it minimal. I don't know why drops are, that just sounds disgusting. What are you using it for? Are you trying to flavor water or something? Please just drink water. What are you using? I've never heard of stevia drops or monk fruit drops. But the problem with those artificial sugars but it's natural, comes from a plant, your brain signals are getting sweet. All right. So whether or not it has a caloric value, you're still getting those receptors, you're still getting those brain signals in the hypothalamus that you're eating sweet foods and stuff like that. I prefer to work out fasted. Yes. I don't eat a lot before I work out or anything like that. Generally, most people, you should be training fasted. You don't want to have food in your stomach. So if anything, it's going to be an hour or two before, maybe something, taking like a tablespoon of honey is something that's really light, but you don't want to have food in your stomach when you're training more often than not. And if you're used to eating a lot of food and you try training fasted, you're going to feel dizzy and lightheaded. Sure, of course, take it easy because your body's not used to it yet, but you'll adapt. Hi, Lewis and Benny. You rock. You rock. Everyday Debbie, your boys are watching with you. Uh-oh, earmuffs. Earmuffs. Careful.
He's heating up.
Yow. Careful. Yow. This is uncensored. Thank you for sharing the swole with the fam, Debbie. Dakota, what does liver do for us? Why is it good to eat so much? It's not a lot. Going grocery shopping. It's amazing, dense nutrition, dense vitamins, minerals. It's anytime you're eating, grass-fed beef and such like that, you want to make sure you're trying to get nose to tail. You want to be eating the majority of the animal. You also, in a lot of these other organs, you get a lot of connective tissues. You get a lot of, for example, bone broth. I love bone broth because of the proline, the glycine. It's really good for the gut, as well as the collagen, which is great for hair, skin, nails, connective tissue, and such. So liver is one of the most nutritionally dense, if not the most nutritionally dense food that you can consume. So a lot of people are sucking down multivitamins and all these synthetic supplements and things. If you just get some organ meats, you'll get in most, if not all, of the nutrients that you need. Especially when it comes to people that are vegan and that don't like to eat meat or trying to save the planet, or whatever it is, whatever your logic or ideology is to not eat meat. A lot of these health issues that vegans commonly suffer from would be satisfied by just a couple ounces of organ meats or liver a week, but they're so adamantly against it with ideology that they sacrifice their health at the expense. So even if you can't tolerate or don't prefer to eat lots of red meat or things like that, it's fantastic for you. Grass-fed beef, quality food, quality raised animals. Wild game is great too. Wild fish is great. But this can help fill in the gaps for a lot of people. And it's great to make sure you're getting in a totality of nutrition, which organ meats satisfies. Remember, use hashtag Swole Privilege in the comments down below for a chance to win today's Swole card. We'll give that away at the end of today's episode. And you can learn more about joining the Swole fam today. Get access to all of our content over there at swolenormousx.com. You can also download your copy of the 7 Pillars of Swolenormous right there at the top of the page. Again, that's over there at swolenormousx.com.
He's on fire!
We're all on fire. Isn't that right, Freddie? I know. She looks so good. Get yourself some Swole privilege today, fam. All right, let's see here. Charlie Shaw, Papa Swolio, what are some of your favorite foods and lifts for bulking? The same that I eat now. I'm currently in the bulk phase right now. I'm trying to fully change to a fat-adapted diet. It's just more of what works best for you. You just eat more of that. So you do an elimination diet, you figure out which foods work best for you, and then you amplify the quantity of those. So a fat-adapted diet and a bulk phase, my favorite foods, the same things that I always say that I always eat. Grass-fed beef, pastured eggs, sweet potatoes, sometimes some white rice. I prefer sweet potatoes, berries, fruits, raw honey, dates. That's what I would eat in just larger quantity if I was trying to bulk. You might need a little bit extra carbohydrates, depends on how much strength training you're doing. But a fat-adapted diet is going to be, in my experience, and in most people's experience, it's going to be a much more maintainable long-term. You don't have those sugar cravings. You don't have those crashes. You don't have that exhaustion. You feel great going longer periods without eating, which is healthier. You can focus better on your tasks. I find better less brain fog, more focus, more energy, better workouts, and then I indulge with a time-restricted eating window. I don't really eat all day long, maybe kind of graze on some fruit and stuff during the day or around my workout, some dates or some raw honey, some mangoes from the tree. If I'm getting a lot of sun, I'm longer days, hot summer, sweating a lot, giving off a lot of, making sure I'm getting my Celtic sea salt in the morning, my electrolytes, and then I'll pound food later in the evening after my workout. All right, let's see here. Papa Swole, have you heard of vitamin B12 and B6 used for aiding weight loss? What, with shots or injections? I guess to give you a boost of energy. Just eat organ meats, you'll have all the energy you need. Trust me. I mean, you don't need to be sucking down vitamins like that. Ooh, I just heard a big thump. It's a mango alarm. Mango alarm. I heard it. Just hit the roof. It's probably not ripe though. I checked all the ripe ones. Probably just sound like a softball landing on the roof. You eat some grass-fed beef liver, you're gonna get plenty. Seriously, when I have it, I have energy. I haven't drank coffee in 2 or 3 weeks. I have tons of energy. I feel great. I get sun and I eat my organ meats. Fantastic. All right, let's see here. Dun 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 dun. Swole privilege. Okay, let's see. Dun 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 dun. Next one.
What's in the box?
Does cardio burn belly fat? The answer is no, it doesn't. Being in a caloric deficit will force, quote unquote, force your body to find nutrients elsewhere on your body. If you're more fat adapted, your body would be more efficient at utilizing fat stores on your body. Weight gain and weight loss can be adjusted based on your food quality, what foods you are eating, making sure you're not getting inflammatory foods, and also eating in a caloric range that will cause you to lose weight. And you'll lose weight generally in the last place you put it on. And high levels of stress and cortisol levels being elevated will store more fat around the hips and thighs and the stomach. So get better sleep, drink more water, de-stress, take care of your health, and you'll lose fat everywhere. But try the elimination diet and check out the content on that as well. Satara, any recommendations for super gentle workouts in your library? Super gentle. Check out the chair yoga. The Swollen 7 Repair are very good because they're mobility based. You can also check out the starter classes in the yoga section and check out the chair yoga again. Chair yoga would be great. The yin will be fantastic. So I would recommend doing the yin classes. The yin classes overall in the yoga studio are going to be probably the most consistently more chill because it's using gravity and longer holds. And that's great for your workouts and mobility. That'll help really get you going again. What's going on with you, Satara? What's wrong with the, what are you trying to rehab? What's going on with you? It says you have to get an okay first from your physio. So once you're cleared, I would start there. I would jump in there first. Papa Swolio, what foods are non-filling? Trying to eat a lot in bulking for the gains. Non-filling. No foods are non-filling. You're filling your body up. So this is why a lot of people resort to sucking down weight gainers and stuff because they're sucking down liquid. So, I mean, all foods are filling. That's why you want to eat nutrient-dense foods so you're getting the most for your consumption. Yeah. All foods are filling. More softer foods, I suppose, like sweet potatoes, you can consume a lot more just because they're softer, if that's what you mean, less bulk. You know, eating foods, let's say like broccoli, for example, you get very low caloric value. Some people claim you get some nutrients from that, but it's arguable whether or not you need vegetables like that or vegetables at all. You can experiment with what works best for you, but personally, if you're eating, you know, you're getting enough protein for sure, protein and fats, and then the rest can be more carbohydrate based, but everything's going to fill you up. You just don't want to get more volume. You don't want to be eating fluffy foods like a ton of vegetables, for example, that are going to fill you up before you're getting in your other foods. So I'd recommend eating your other more dense protein, fat-based foods first. That way you are making sure that you're using your stomach volume maximally for the nutrient-dense foods, like the heavier caloric intake foods. Matthew, is it possible to cut your gains short by not consuming enough carbs? I'm currently consuming cut your gains short, like building muscle. Personally, I don't like keto. I don't like doing super low carb for strength training. I think you need carbohydrates for strength training. Now, how much and what kind is going to depend on you. So I would experiment. You might want to try eating a little bit more and see how you feel. Like, what carbohydrates are you consuming? Nutrient timing is also valuable. So you're not eating them super late at night where you might be more prone to storing body fat. Eating a lot of sugar or, simple carbohydrates in the evening, for example, not really the optimal time. So earlier in the day or around your workout. So I think it can definitely affect your gains by not eating enough calories or enough nutrients. Personally, just eating meat, like going full carnivore, trying to bulk, I don't think is ideal. I didn't like doing keto myself when I was testing it legit, and I haven't gone back to doing full keto. So I do like my carbohydrates. I would just experiment. And this is where it comes individually. I'm not going to say that you can't do it with 100 and 150. Maybe you're not getting enough protein. Maybe you're not getting in enough fat. Maybe you are. So I would try it. Try bumping it up to 200. The thing is, most people change too many variables, so they can't address what actually they changed. So if you just do this, or you eat more protein all of a sudden, then you're eating more carbs and you're doing this differently, then you have more variables that you're adding to your control and you don't know exactly what it was that changed it. So try to keep everything the same, up it to 200, and then see how you feel. If you like it a little bit, try upping it to 250 after a couple more days. Up it to 200 for a couple days and up it again and see how you feel. That's the best way to do it. And it does take time and it takes effort, it takes energy. And most people don't want to put that kind of effort and attention into it, which is why most people don't get results. And it's really that simple. You have to test and figure it out, because Like, Matt, what if you try doing 200 grams of carbs and you're like, I feel fucking great. And I'm over here saying, no, you should do 100. It's like, well, obviously you know what you're doing. You're doing it. You're experiencing it. So it's really hard to answer these questions in detail without you being the scientist in your own life, which is what the elimination diet and all this is all about. You got to learn how to customize and individualize your approach. That way you can get the best out of your life. And a lot of people don't want to take that responsibility because it puts the stress on you, right? It puts the pressure on you. So the onus is on the person that's making those changes. So all of a sudden you're in the driver's seat. You're making those changes. You're tweaking those things. So if you're not getting results, guess whose fault it is? It's yours. And I think that's powerful. I think that's great because then it puts you in the driver's seat. Then it means that you're able to navigate to get results and to be successful. Many people that just ask questions online, not saying you, Matt, but other people just in general want an answer. And how do you give an answer to someone? How do you give an answer to someone how many carbs you should be eating? It's like someone trying to tell me what would be better for me in my life. Like, how the fuck would you know? If you're having a lot of problems, it makes sense to ask and to try to gather information. Ask, read, listen to podcasts, do your research, put a lot of effort in. It takes hundreds and thousands of hours of research and listening and educating yourself. Educate yourself. Anyway, just some thoughts right there.
Fuck yeah!
All right. Yes, Falcon. Yes. Swole privilege for a chance to win today's Swole card. We know, Freddie. Thank you. Let's see. Satara, I'm down 20 pounds, but was hoping to be further along in my weight loss. I had school, work, surgery, getting finally diagnosed on ADHD, fixing meds, improved exponentially mentally. Good for you. Glad you're still doing well then. Good for you. Oh, you got into a car accident. Oh, shit. The car who rear-ended me had a hole in it and got written off on the spot. Written off? My car might get written off as well. Oh, shit. Well, I'm glad you're okay then. My God. That could have gone a lot worse, so I'm glad you're okay. Let's see. Bree Summer. Papa Swolio, any suggestions on workouts for diastasis, erecti, back-to-back pregnancies? Left my core extremely weak. My lower back pain is preventing me from doing a lot of floor exercises. Are you practicing yoga? That's one of the standards. Doing planks, intrinsic core stabilizers, if you're able to do that. Glute activation as well. So that's going to be important in my experience. I'm not an expert on diastasis erecti. A lot of women ask me that question. So I would recommend, for example, trying to strengthen your core and lower back. It comes from the hips too as well. So strengthening your glutes is very important. Doing like really slow and controlled hip bridges, single leg balance exercises. Yoga is fantastic. Even doing things like prone isoab, like a plank, sucking your stomach, squeezing your glutes, even doing it from your knees and elevated. You could do this against a bed. You could do this on a table, on a kitchen table. Like, you can keep yourself more upright and more vertical and slowly be bringing yourself more towards horizontal, and adjust and modify that resistance until you're able to build that strength and progressively overload. Like, don't underestimate how much you might have to regress in exercise or movement. Let's see. My favorite Swole card. My favorite? My favorite. It's probably in that pile somewhere. My favorite thing on the wall is my favorite quote. That's still at the other place. I'm going to frame it. It's on a piece of paper. I wrote that summer 16 when I first started Swolenormous. I had a bunch of stuff written on the walls. So it was the perfection is not achieved when there's nothing more to add, but when there's nothing left to take away. It's my favorite quote. Antoine Saint-Exupéry. I think it's the same one that wrote the Little Prince or something, I think. Anyway, that was my favorite post on the wall. I have all the great cards here, but there's too many to remember, but that's a great quote. My favorite quote. All right, so more questions. You could drop that in the comments down below. Hashtag AskPapaSwolio. Go in so far. I'll answer the ones to the best of my ability, and some thoughts if I don't have a direct or specific answer on the topic. What we got here?
What's in the box?
All right.
Boom shakalaka!
Ruben is badass. I'll be the judge of that, Ruben. How can I stay motivated while I'm fighting depression? Yeesh. That sounds kind of the opposite. How can I stay motivated? You're not going to stay motivated. Building discipline and habits would be my answer. So your habits will supersede your depression. You do what you need to do because it's the time to do it. So building daily habits when you have those lower mood periods and those swings, making sure that you are sticking to your plan. You'll do your meditation, you'll do your yoga, you'll do your training, you'll eat your food, and you'll be as consistent as you possibly can be, which is very easy to execute when you're building those habits. Now, making sure that you are doing an elimination diet, cutting out a lot of these foods, getting sunlight, walking, getting a lot of, meditating, all those things, but getting sunlight and cutting out a lot of garbage foods will help you dramatically improve these issues. Most people that suffer from depression find major benefits. It doesn't cure, it's not a magic cure, but getting rid of all these garbage processed foods and including a lot of foods that could be triggers that aren't necessarily processed foods. Like not all vegetables work for all people. A lot of them are very, very, very bad and cause crazy bloating and a lot of side effects. So you have to figure out which ones, and also cooking methodologies. A lot of lectin content in foods like legumes and beans are just devastating to the body. So I avoid beans completely, just in general, because they're just not valuable to me. And but pressure cooking them will help break down those cell walls and those defensive proteins like lectins, for example. So anyway, get consistent, get disciplined, making sure that you have those habits locked in. Check out that awesome book that we all love, Atomic Habits. It's a great way to learn how to stack habits. But you're not going to always feel like it. So you're going to, even if you didn't suffer from clinical depression, if you actually have clinical depression, a lot of people throw around that word without actually having it. People exaggerate and want to play the victim. And if you label yourself, then you can use that as an excuse. So I'm not saying that's everyone, but there's a reason why mental health and all these diagnoses are just off the charts today. It's because are people just getting more sick than ever, or are we just diagnosing things more and more and more? We're just over-diagnosing things, in my opinion. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and healthy lifestyle habits will help tremendously regardless of your conditions. Always will help. Always will help. Always will help. How much? Sometimes people see like, oh, everything just went away and my whole life changed. And some people like, yeah, it made a massive improvements, but I still need some medications, other things. Like, sure, everyone's different, but it's going to help you regardless. The level of how much it will help you is relative and individualized. Are we going to have another masterclass on muscle groups? Yeah, sure. It's only been 1 week. It's only been 1 week since like a masterclass. Yes, we shall have more for sure. Don't you worry. More masterclasses coming up. Let's see. Satara, I think you said you have an eye sensitivity, so you wear sunglasses. What is? No, I'm trolling. I was talking about myoswolitis. That's a joke. Because people ask me, why are you wearing sunglasses inside? I'm like, oh, I suffer from myoswolitis. It's a joke. I don't wear sunglasses outside. I'll wear a hat or something like that. I don't like to cover my eyes from the sun. I don't think that's a good thing either. I'm looking more into that, but the more I read and listen to about that, wearing sunglasses can distract and interrupt the signals that your body naturally responds to protect yourself from sunlight, to benefit you from getting UV light. So for example, if you're wearing sunglasses, your eyes and your photoreceptors in your eyes aren't receiving the information that it's bright out. So your body doesn't react the same way to sunlight, which can cause more problems or lack of absorption, XYZ. So it makes complete sense. Just critical thinking just makes logical sense that if your body will respond differently if it's actually receiving the UV light, the UV rays and the UV light, and it recognizes that it's out in the sun. So when I'm outside, I try not to wear my contacts. I try not to wear my glasses. And actually, I feel great as a result of it. But, that's more, it would be more considered fringe science, but it just kind of makes sense to me. I don't like to wear sunglasses outside. But you wear a hat. I'm not saying stare in the fucking sun, but wear a hat. You don't need to block your eyes from the wonderful UV light, but experience it. Just don't stare in the sun. Let's see, we already answered that question. Fabio Boel, Fabio. I have some resource. I'm going to look into that. I'll see if I can get some more context for all that. But will you pay rent for living in my head? Because every time I think of eating junk, you are there. That's what I'm talking about.
I am the danger.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's see. Jen, I wish my doctor would have told me that a key component to controlling my depression was living a healthier lifestyle and working out instead of just pumping me full of drugs. Basically, all that Papa preaches has helped my mental state so much since I gave in and committed to myself 1,000% back in March. That's awesome, Jen. Good for you. Got to fill your cup, right? People don't want to. It's looked at as selfish. If you're taking care of yourself, it's looked at as selfish, right? Just like I mentioned before that I got banned from TikTok live streaming for a week because I was using logic and common sense about the vaccines. All I was saying is that they're not safe, which is true. They're not. Now that's a percentage game, right? That depends on the situation. Like they're not, there's no long-term studies. And there are a lot of issues and side effects and a lot of complications and people have died. Absolutely. Doesn't mean that people shouldn't take them if you want to. Doesn't mean if you make that right decision. Doesn't mean that you can't take it. But there's a lot of other issues with the production of that. There's a lot of other games being played in suppression, and there's a lot of systemic rot in the scientific community that the manipulation there's some evil shit going on. And if you're not aware of this, it's going to sound like a conspiracy theory. But using critical thinking is important. It's important to understand what risks are and what risk assessment is. And just because there's a risk doesn't mean you don't move forward, right? For example, with investing, you need to take risk. Otherwise, you're not going to get any return. With anything, there's a risk. There's a risk driving your car. There's a risk walking outside and tripping on the sidewalk and hitting your head on the ground and bleeding out to death. Like, there's always a risk. But to not be able to talk about the risks, very scary stuff. Like, I don't understand why people are getting banned and flagged and restricted for just having the conversation about the risks that exist. It's really some scary shit. Like, why can't we have the conversation? Why can't we have a conversation about it? And then you can still go get it. Then go fucking get it. But it's scary when it's being shoved down your throat like it's the only option. It's so fucking frightening. And there's red flags everywhere. And I honestly think that's why they're trying to shove it down everyone's throat, because there's so many red flags. If everyone gets it, you won't be able to tell the red flags from the blue flags, from the pink flag. You won't be able to tell anymore. You'll destroy the control group. You'll destroy the control group, right? If everyone has it, then you can't compare it to anything. Interesting. DeAndre, how'd you finally give up on Sour Patch Kids? Oh, I just did. I just stopped. That was the easiest thing to stop eating. That was the easiest thing. Just got grossed out. And once you learn, the way I work, the way my mind works, if I learn information and I realize I can't be a hypocrite, I'm not going to lie to myself. You know, once I catch myself and I improve and I make improvements and I learn new information, you know, a lot of people know, like, oh, this food is junk food or this is bad for me. And they're like, okay, and they eat it anyway. Well, you only live once. People are just making excuses for their addictions, and they don't want to actually, want to, I don't know, live with any integrity with themselves. So once you have information and you're consciously making a bad decision or the wrong decision, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird once you have that information. So once I am exposed to information about the systems, about evidence of suppressed ulterior motives, yeah, but alternative treatments, for example, for COVID, and those things are suppressed, blatantly suppressed. So vaccines, or these new vaccines, these novel vaccines, can be submitted and pushed through EUA, which is the emergency use authorization. It's for money. It's obvious. And this information is available and it's factual, and people just don't want to look at it. And guess what? If you've already gotten the vaccine, you don't want to hear about this information, do you? It's called cognitive dissonance. People don't want to admit to themselves that they didn't do enough research or that they jumped the gun on this and, oh shit, I can't go back. So they're just going to deny it and then call everyone else a conspiracy theorist or an anti-vaxxer and everything, right? Because they'll feel more comfortable. They can live in their their little cocoon of safety in their brain and denial. Some people have gotten the vaccine and realized, oh shit, yeah, there's a lot of things like, okay, cool. Luckily, I don't have any issues right now. I'll keep an eye on it. But you learn and you take ownership of your decisions and you move on. But critical thinking is not looked highly upon because it sends you and you instantly step outside the mainstream narrative and you see what a charade and what a fucking house of cards it is. It's like that with many things. It's like that with the food industry. It's like that with the pharmaceutical industry. It's like that with the medical community. That's why you're seeing it with financial system. It's all a house of fucking cards. And you're starting to see that ridiculously exposed. And it's pretty scary because it's slowly, this is a slow crash. It's slowly crumbling to the ground. It's just happening in slow motion. A lot of people are just sitting inside a burning building like, this is fine. This is fine. You know, this is totally cool. This is totally cool. Like everything is just smoke and mirrors, but hey, this is totally fine. They'd rather live in their land of make-believe when it's crumbling around them. All right, so let's continue. More questions. Let's not get blocked from here too, because TikTok already did that. Fucking jabronis.
I didn't know they stacked shit that high.
Fucking TikTok. What a joke of a platform. I use it because one of the few places where I get actual reach, but man, it is so no one sees my videos. No one sees my videos on TikTok either. It's so brutal. Can't even fucking make the content I want to fucking make. No one's gonna see my fucking content. No one sees my shit anywhere. It's frustrating. People with like a fraction of the following get like 10 times the views. I'm like, how are you getting all? Because they're showing their videos to more people. Because they don't swear probably. And they talk about generic, run-of-the-mill mainstream bullshit, worthless entertainment, brain-numbing nonsense, brain-numbing bullshit. I can do a dance. Great value you're adding to the world. Fantastic. You talk about actual people's health and obesity and you get flagged for, hate speech and bullying. God, people are such fucking pussies.
Inconceivable!
I know. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Free speech is dead. It is. Well, we don't have free speech. It's very limited. You can say things, but the outcome you might not necessarily like. All right, we got a question from, keep dropping those comments though. If you got more questions, drop in the comments down below. #AskPapaSwolio. This is from It's Tegan. How does one get a luscious beard? Well, you have my parents, you have good genetics, but also you eat healthy, rest, get plenty of sunlight, organ meats, healthy fats, bone broth. My hair grows in thick and juicy. It's fantastic. Rivon Pelt 123. Do I drink beer? No, I haven't in a long time. A couple years easily, 4 years maybe. I just don't prefer it. If I have anything, I'll have a little bit of scotch. I like cigars, but I'll have some scotch now and again. But beer, bloating. Why am I drinking all that liquid for no? I'd rather have a nice drink, like a small, a little bit of scotch, rather than just be sucking down beers. Beers, I don't understand anymore, really. Not really sure why. You just feel bloated and full and you're filling yourself with all those calories and just all that carbonated wheat and grain. It's like, I'd rather just have some single malt scotch. It's just very smooth. You don't get the bloating. You don't have all the side effects, at least my experience. And just to take the edge off, you're having a little like social gathering or something. You don't have to drink 10 of them. Beers are strange in my opinion. But once you find scotch and you're like, once you really get into it and you have some nice ones, like, this is what it means to have a drink. But once in a while, I'm not a big drinker. Not anymore. Indigo orchids. Around what age is best for someone to start lifting? That depends. As long as they have good form and you go really light, you can have little kids using plastic weights or 1 pound dumbbells and such, and get them exercising and climbing and lifting. It depends on how they're actually lifting. So if you're going light and learning the form and lifting lighter weights, you're not really doing a ton of volume. You can do it really, really young. Kids are picking up toys. Those have weight to it. They're picking up a truck. It weighs half a pound or a pound. So they're still lifting things. But doing concentrated lifting, I would say, teens, early teens, very, very light, learning the form and stuff like that. Some kids really start lifting young and do lifting competitions when they're 13, 14. I think that's on the young end. You can cause some damage. Or the thing is, it's not just necessarily like the growth plates and that kind of myth. That's not a myth, but you have to do you have to really do some serious damage to damage the growth plates for lifting. But you just don't want to create that kind of like constant stress and inflammation. The body's already growing. Just have them be active. They can do activity. They can lift a little bit if they're really passionate about it. Teach them properly. But you shouldn't really be doing a ton of lifting, I would say, until you're a teenager, at least. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but you definitely don't want to be crushing some like 10-year-old, obviously, with weights. But it's always got to be done properly. So the first time I ever lifted was when I was 13, but I really started lifting more regularly when I was 16, 17. So I think that'd be a good age. I wasn't going absolutely nuts though. Kids now, because of Instagram and Gymshark and all that stuff, everyone wants to be a fucking physique competitor. So kids are taking SARMs and all sorts of drugs really, really, really young. And it's definitely not a good thing. But the fact that kids are taking care of their health, but they're not really they're lifting, but going to the gym is only a fraction of it. They're still eating like shit. So people want to act like, hey, I'm lifting, I'm taking care of my health. Yeah, that's a part of it. Lifting doesn't really have to do with your health so much as what you eat and your sleep and sunlight and, meditation, lowering your stress. Lifting is great for building muscle and but lifting isn't necessary for survival. Just doing physical activity will maintain some muscle tone. So it depends on what your real goal is. Having abs doesn't mean you're healthy, and having muscles doesn't mean you're healthy either. It doesn't. All right, let's take a couple more questions. Couple more good questions today. Good little blend. Remember, if you want to join the Swole fam, check out swolenormousx.com. You can also download your copy of the 7 Pillars over there at swolenormousx.com. We got a sexy beach, Swole Privilege. Drop that hashtag in the comments down below for a chance to win today's Swole card. We'll get that given away at the end of today's episode. So in a few minutes, we'll give away that Swole card. And subscribe to Daily Swole, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave a review, Apple Podcast, 5 stars, share with your friends, let everyone know that Papa goes live. And the podcast is available every day, because if you don't let people know that we're live, if you don't let people know that I exist, these platforms certainly won't. So I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best, fam. I'm doing my best trying to get the word out. I'm doing my best trying to promote the content and send it out there. But these platforms are horrifically restrictive. The censorship is insane. So do your best and do us all a solid. Share the podcast. It helps a lot. And it'll help people make some sick fucking gains. And that's always a benefit, isn't it? Let's help people make some fucking gains. Anna asked, Papa Swolio, do you think that maces are okay for beginners, or is it something to use when more advanced? It's fine for beginners. You just need a very light one and with good form, and start slow. So you start with like the pendulum, just like swinging back and forth at the base of your neck. You can get really light ones, 5, 7, 10 pounds are really great to start. It's totally fine for a beginner, but good form is always imperative with any kind of lifting and any kind of exercise, especially things like a mace or kettlebells, because small movements can really throw you off your balance and throw you out of position, and can have much more dramatic effects than just like a dumbbell. It's more challenging for a dumbbell to go out of, you could drop it, or it's more rare for a dumbbell exercise to go horribly wrong than it is for something like a mace or a kettlebell if you don't have good form. So technique is always essential. Let's see here. Good question. Dwayne, do you use sunscreen or sunblock? No, I don't. I just go inside when I've been hot for a little bit. So I go outside. If I start to get if I feel like when you're outside and you start to feel your skin getting a little, getting to that level where it's, my skin's starting to feel hot, just go in the shade or go in the sun or go in the shade for a little bit. I go inside or go in the shade for a little bit, and then I'll go back out. I just get some sun and then go inside and then go back out, get some more sun. I don't wear sunscreen or sunblock. I don't want to block any of that shit. I don't want to block any of it. I want that. That's your energy. That's literally energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's one of the laws of thermodynamics. That's literally pure energy coming from the sun. I feel energized when I get sunlight for good reason, because I am absorbing energy. Legit. That heat energy. It's invigorating. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, if you're out for more than 20 minutes, you're getting sunlight, then you can cover up your skin. You can cover yourself up. You can wear a shirt or wear a jacket. Going to the beach all day, that's what's awful. You're just cooking those chemicals and stuff into your skin. A lot of those sunblocks and stuff are really bad for your skin. They can lead to things like cancer and such. Like a lot of those sunblocks are really bad, and those chemicals in there are reacting to the sunlight. And yeah, they might be reflecting some of the rays, but a lot of those rays are amazing. And that's another reason why you shouldn't be out. You shouldn't be out there cooking all day. And that's why you need an umbrella. So if you go to the beach, you go out in the sun a little bit, go in the water a little bit, then you go under the umbrella and you sit in the shade. You don't just lay out and cook and cook and cook and cook and cook like you're a piece of fucking fish or something. Get sun. Get layers of sun. Layers of sunlight. We're supposed to be in the sun. We're as humans, we're supposed to be in the sun all the time. We're supposed to be in the sun all the time. Now, of course, you look at different areas of the world. Some places naturally, like in Ireland, or these places where there isn't a lot of sun. It's mostly rainy, right? The Isles and the UK and stuff like that, where you have more fair skin. But it makes sense because those genetics and those people are not exposed to a lot of sunlight all the time, right? So you go to more sunny climates and more towards the equator, and you have people with darker skin because your skin has developed and evolved over millennia to withstand and to handle. But you need more sun. If you have darker skin, you need more sun in order to get the vitamin D, or you might need supplementation. This is another reason why, pretty obviously, the correlation between African Americans getting, or black people, whatever, getting, having more issues with COVID, because it's harder for them to get vitamin D. So you might need to supplement. So something to think about if you have darker skin, if you're not getting enough sunlight, to supplement with vitamin D. Let's see. Deandra, Papa Swolio, should you go ass to grass with back squats? I prefer to, but you need proper mobility. So you need to be working your anterior tibialis. You need to be really lengthening your hamstrings and strengthening your thoracic spine, making sure that you have thoracic extension. So with good form, yeah, you should absolutely be going deep. That's what she said. Ha ha. Oh.
Boom shakalaka!
I got hairy legs.
I got hairy legs. So yes, you should be, as long as you have good form. If you don't have good form and good ankle and knee and hip mobility, then you can be putting a lot of pressure on your lower back and such if you're trying to go super low. But you can also go super low as you build up that mobility. You can elevate your heels on blocks or on a ramp, and you'll find that you'll be able to get deeper because it takes pressure off your Achilles tendon, because most people have issues with tight calves as well as weak anterior tibialis. So they're not able to get that track over their knees over the toes enough. But when you mobilize that ankle joint, you're able to get your knees further forward, and you'll be able to get into that posture better. But that's why elevating your heels in a squat will make it more quad dominant, but you'll also be able to get deeper in the squat, and it'll feel better and less pressure on your back and your knees. Because if you don't have a lot of movement forward with your knees over your toes, you'll be hunched forward more. You'll put more pressure on your lower back. I like to give my wife some vitamin D supplements.
Is this a list of things I did to your mom last night?
I see what you did there. Nice one. Nice one. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Last question. Maybe one more if you answer live. Adelante P908. How much cardio should I be doing? I work out 6 to 7 days. 6 to 7 days. Lifting light to heavy. How much cardio? I'm more concerned about your nutrition. Cardio should be a seasoning, maybe a couple days a week. I personally don't do any focused direct cardio. Maybe I'll walk. I'll go for a walk the dog, and I'll get my cardio that way. Yoga, kettlebell, mace bell training, plenty of cardiovascular effort there. Most people do way too much cardio unnecessarily. They're trying to outwork a shitty diet or bad habits, and they're stressing out their body more. So remember, if you're fatiguing your body more, that's not necessarily going to help you. Higher stress levels will retain fat and water and fluids. So if you're lowering stress, cortisol levels go down. So make sure you're training, then recovering, eating healthy, sleeping well. It's really, cardiovascular activity is good. It's good to have cardiovascular capacity, but most people, or many people, kill themselves with cardio unnecessarily. So it depends on the context. That's very vague. The question, you just can't write enough to give me a fuller picture. All right. Very good. Let's give away today's Swole card. Excellent. This will be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify shortly. Make sure you join the Swole fam. Learn more about everything we got going on inside Swolenormous X over at swolenormousx.com. And of course, we got some awesome shit coming tomorrow. Tomorrow, Beaches. Where's my thing? Where's my fucking thing? All right. Tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time.
I'd be the luckiest guy alive.
We got accountability meeting. New releases, fam. New motherfucking releases.
Greatest country in the world.
Super stoked. So tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, we will have amazing new releases and Swole fam posts. So don't miss out on that at all. You're not going to want to miss that. Let's give away this delicious Swole privilege card. It's fucking amazing. Hit that like button, fam. That should be something you do right when you come in. If you don't, you're kind of being a fucking cunt about it. So hit the like button, especially if you're watching on YouTube. It's pretty rude if you don't. It's so easy and it's 100% free. Scrolling. Wow, you guys didn't drop that shit at all in the comments. Well, we got one from Don Hoffman. Swole privilege, I hate typing. Well, you're going to love this fucking card. Congratulations, Don.
Congratulations!
Ya won. Barely saw any Swole privilege in the comments. Barely saw any hashtags. What was up with that, fam? Well, Don, you are the winner. You play, you can win. So everyone say congratulations, Don. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 1857. And your mailing address in the body of the email. Well done. Hit that like button, fam. Hit that like button on YouTube. Congratulations, Dawn. Excellent. Well freaking done. Freddie, take us away. Ah, yes, Freddie. Freddie the Falcon, fam. Remember, check out swolenormousx.com. Memberships are available now to make those summer gains. The time is nigh. Surround yourself with the best fucking people because you know they're coming for us, fam. They're coming for your logic and your common sense. We'll see you inside the Swole fam where you can say whatever you want inside the Swole fam.
You're not making this easy on me, boy.
Powdered Toast Man. Yeah. Say whatever you want inside the Swole fam. Looking forward to tomorrow, Bisha. It's going to be lit. Thank you so much, fam, for joining me for episode 1800 and 57, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, and Sleazecast. Pimpcast, Sleazecast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because we're not flexing flex. We all flex our biceps. Don't we now?
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Nice.
He's on fire!
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again.
What the fuck?
What's your name, fat body?
Boom shakalaka! Chicks will dig you, or dudes, or whatever gender thing you're into.
All right, fam. Thank you so much for a delicious nut. Thank you so much, Tessie. It was excellent. Thank you for the host, Freddie. Thank you for hosting this nut ceremony. Really appreciate it. Fam, we'll see you tomorrow for 1858 accountability meeting tomorrow. Live inside Swole TV. You can join today and get access to that live stream and the other live stream this week. Shh. I can't tell you until tomorrow. We got new releases and new announcements. So if you never want to miss a single live stream of your favorite show, live masterclasses, live Swole TV special events, weekly accountability meetings, the Daily Swole never stops. You just don't see it because you're not part of the Swole fam. Join over at swolenormousx.com, and we'll see you tomorrow for 1858. See you at the accountability meeting, beaches. Peace, McGee's, deuce, magoose, your boy Papa Swolio. Oh, 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 oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint you. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons out closets and making new deposits.